Friday morning, can't control it. Fired up and counting every minute. Hands are shaking, eyes are burning. The time has come, yeah, this is not a warning. The week was just so long, we had to let it go. Our problems disappeared, we're not tied up anymore. The weekend is here. Sunday calls, we are sick and tired of it. Up and down, can you feel it? Up and down.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Johansson show. It's Kurt. Today I've got the hellbound himself, Jason Hyde. Jason, thanks for coming on.
Good morning, how are we?
Not too bad considering got a newborn. Not too tired, so that's alright. Got me monster to try and help me get through it. How are you?
Yeah, I'm the golf. That's supposed to be my thing, is just putting the monsters away. But Ian Skinner's kind of took it for me.
I've got like a crate behind me, then I've got another crate of them in the garage to keep cool, and then I've got half a crate in. Yeah, I like Monster.
You'll be awake to Christmas, man.
Oh yeah, it's only this one. Only mango is the one I like. I don't like any other flavour. If I'm out and about and I ask for a vodka Red Bull and I taste it and I'm like, you've put Monster in that, haven't you? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, you can't just assume I'd want Monster. I didn't say a vodka and energy drink. I said vodka and Red Bull. You should say, we don't have Red Bull, sir. How about Monster? And I'd say, no, just give me a Coke instead.
See, I don't drink, so I only ever get the debacle between is Pepsi alright if I ask for Coke. That's all I really need to deal with.
Would you be happy with that?
If Monopoly money's alright, then I suppose. I
It'd
mean,
be
I
like-
don't really know. I'm not one of the people that's like snobby about that, but at the same time, there is a difference, man. And people don't admit that. There is a definite difference between Coke and Pepsi.
Are you more Coke or are you more Pepsi?
So I'm like normal Coke, but like Diet Pepsi
Okay.
over Diet Coke. So like I'm very specific.
Yeah, I'd put Coke first, then it's like a Pepsi Max. I don't mind Pepsi Max.
See, that the only thing about that is it goes pure watery. Like it goes flat really quick for me.
So just think, it'd be like you asking for a Coke and they're giving you a Pepsi Max and pouring water into it. That's how like much I hate them putting a Monster in my Red Bull.
All right, no, I get that. That would severely upset me, especially if they done it like making a point of it, just put it down on ice and then pour the water in.
Yeah, it's
To
just
let me know that I'm the dickhead here.
pretty much. Well, yeah, well, that's the thing. So, there's all, and I know which place it is now. I remember because I think it was probably for years as well. So I don't even know why, because it's normally one of the first places I'd start. So I'm not even pissed by that point. But I go in and I ask for it, drink it. Fuck's sake. And then without fail, next time I go in, ask for it, drink it. Oh, I don't like Monster.
See,
What's
I
your
try
favourite?
and act like a normal person if I end up out, but like I can hang about with most of the people I chat about we do drink. So like whenever I'm out with them, we're out for drinks and that. But there's one other guy, and like he's not really tight with me, and he drinks milk in public,
All right.
and it's giving me a bad name. It's giving everybody a bad name.
Like how he drinks milk in public as if it's like some pedo. He does that in public, you know.
Well, there is like a big there's a whole circle of things that you can do that like they're perfectly legal, but they make you appear like a psychopath. One of them would be like drinking water outside from a glass.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with that, but if you do it in front of me, I'll punch you.
I think the only person that gets away drinking milk in public is Kangle.
Oh yeah, he can drink milk whenever he wants.
He makes it look cool and makes me wish I really liked milk, but unless it's going on the cereal, I don't bother.
See, imagine being Kurt Angle's wife, but and you're going for your coffee or whatever it is, and there's no milk, and Kurt's just in the kitchen, pure like pouring it out himself and all that, having a wee Angle boogie.
Kurt, you're doing it again. Sorry, I had some kids shouting outside, and I just assumed it was a crowd, so I just cracked open the milk and went to town.
A reflex at this point.
He does make me laugh on social media. Like a lot of the times where he just winds up his wife, like, do you know I broke him and I won the Olympic gold with a broken neck, and she's just like, yes, Kurt, I know. Or I think it was decorating the Christmas tree, but he came out in his
And his gear.
In his one piece, yeah.
Oh, I see. I really like when people can kind of get their real personalities over.
Yeah.
But with wrestling, it's kind of different. But like with a band, for example, have you heard of the band Death Havana?
Pardon?
Have you heard of the band Death Havana?
Yeah.
So like I seen an interview with their singer once. I just watched it by chance, and then he was really funny. So I ended up getting really into the band by that. So like I pure love stuff like that, like very like actual personalities. I quite like it.
Oh no,
Mostly because
definitely.
there's nobody here except my girlfriend, so I don't actually see anybody. So I'm just pretending I have other friends.
You do it to the missus, just she turns around and there's you wearing your mask, wearing your wrestling gear, like, hey.
Well, what I do sometimes is if I'm going out somewhere, I'll just put the big jacket on that I wear to the ring with like tracksuit bottoms to annoy her, like just to proper look like some form of a tramp. But that's the closest I get. Other than like she'll get hit with the occasional spear or the occasional RKO, but she's mostly safe.
I can just picture you both like walking into a bank together or something, and all of a sudden you pull out your coat, your mask, and it looks like you're gonna rob the place. And she's like, "No, please don't." And you just act your business, but just wearing a mask whilst everybody's like proper sketchy staring at you both.
It does say in the window I need to wear a mask in the places, so right.
Oh, amazing. So why wrestling then?
So I don't really know. I feel like at the root of it, my personality does not suit being not famous, so I should probably get famous so I don't seem like that much of an entire weirdo. Because if I was to get famous, people will be like, it's alright, he's no weird, he's just famous.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've got like a proper see like the kind of 9 to 5, Monday to Friday 9 to 5 kind of humdrumness that properly scares me. Like without another outlet, it properly just terrifies me.
Yeah, I can imagine. When did you first like even come across wrestling?
So I was really, really young. Like, obviously, there's pre-memory wrestling because my dad used to watch it when I was like a proper baby. But like, I think the first memories are roughly like 99, 2000.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of flashy TV stuff like that. And then like, I got into it properly, like following it and things, kind of the first brand split time.
Yeah.
And I was like mostly SmackDown because that was like the Saturday morning one. Like they kind of didn't really have like that version of Raw at the time
Yeah.
for the TV reception I had. So it was mostly like just kind of the SmackDown 6 were a big one, like Mysterio and Angle and all that. Like that was like the kind of big entry point.
Yeah.
And then from there it was figures because there was figures everywhere to buy and I was like tiny, so I just bought loads of figures and that got me more into it. And then kind of it just stayed the same. Like I just kind of plateaued. I never kind of even considered the thought of actually becoming a wrestler. And then someone that I knew wanted to train, so I was like, he was a really quiet guy, and I was like, right, well, I'll go away because he asked me, so I went, and then I stayed, and he didn't.
How come he didn't stay?
He done some matches and stuff, but he took up Muay Thai, and he preferred Muay Thai.
No, is
Like
one of
the
them.
fake stuff. It's the fake stuff. It's uninteresting.
Yeah. Don't want to do the real stuff in the ring, does he?
No, I don't know what I like. Where in the real fight have you seen somebody punch? What you really see is somebody running back and forward and then jumping or something into a perfect flip onto somebody. That is a real fight to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when they're doing like those double flips in the air and synchronized. That is fighting.
Aye, like when I see a Lucha Libre match, it just reminds me outside a pub on a Friday because that's the standard. It's just drunk guy, body scissors.
And then one of them swinging around the lamppost, kicking him, doing the 619.
Oh yeah, every time. See, the place that I live, the area code's 01698, so I just actually claimed that I invented it and called it the 01698, and then he called it the 619. I say he because I won't say his name after stealing that from me.
Have you attempted to move yourself?
Once,
I think you should
but it
keep
was
practicing it and call it the 06198.
so like the one time I did it, I didn't actually have anybody with me. I literally just I just wanted to see if I can get the rope swing
Yeah.
going, and it was like, have you ever seen that time when Rey Mysterio, or he, as we'll call him, did it, and like he misses the ropes and just flies through? So like that was it, and I think I just torpedoed this wee trainee that was helping me at his first show, and it was a horrible time.
You just got off and was like, meant to do that. Yeah.
No, I sold it like a hero. Bled, and I've opened the bladed probably.
How did you find training them when you first went?
Like, with wrestling training, there's no really an expectation that you can have. Like, you just need to kind of take it as it comes. So I didn't have an expectation specific compared to how I found it, other than just hard, man. It's so hard. And like, before I started training, I was like bigger than I am now. So like, I had no cardio. I hadn't developed like a kind of, like with bumping and stuff, you eventually just build up a numbness to it.
Yeah.
Like, because at the start, it just feels like you're actually just landing right in your back, which I suppose you are. But then when it kind of moves on, you just develop a numbness to it.
Yeah.
So before I kind of had all that and like the kind of muscle memory and that, it was so hard. And I was like a really slow progressor. So like, I think I definitely underestimated it in terms of like how difficult it was. But also like, because like, at the start, I also just thought I had to just show up to training, train a while, and then I would be on shows winning belts probably on the telly, was what I originally expected. And then I'm like, next thing I know, I need to actually learn moves and like go to the gym and stuff. So like, I definitely underestimated it, but I think that was probably better that I did, because I might not have done it if I knew how much hard work it was.
What academy was you with?
So it trained under TJ Rage. It was at the PWI Academy. It's changed to Pro Wrestling Scotland now. So I've started there, and then like before that, I went to a session at a few other schools just to kind of see what one fit.
Yeah.
And kind of what. And then it turns out that like the reason I stayed where I stayed was actually I got talking to Krieger, and he actually went to my school. So we had this massive conversation of trying to figure out if we remembered each other. And then just see for that, I kind of started talking to other people and just kind of got a kind of quick mould into this school quite quickly. So that was kind of the deciding factor that sent us there. Most of the people.
Who else was at the school that you trained with?
So there was Emily Hayden.
Yeah.
Stone Malone, he was there. So when I started, Ian Skinner started maybe the week after me, or 2 weeks after me, and we debuted on the same day as well. So like him, there's a plethora of talent. See, with everything that's changing now and like COVID, I don't even know what ones are still in wrestling anymore. Because I know some of them have just went, I'm no waiting a year to get back into shows. I'll just do it. But like, we've got there's Brian Frank. He was, as there was, I don't know if he still does it either, but he had like a kind of singing character, but not an annoying one. Well, an annoying one, but not an annoying one to watch. And there was a load of people. And then there was kind of, when there was a school, SSW shut down, we got like a big influx from there as well.
Yeah.
So like we'll get kind of people from all over in the kind of one area.
Oh, brilliant. Like when you mentioned like obviously Emily Hayden, I can imagine like it was just so much laughter between you two. Like I know she's going to be coming on your show, and it's going to be comedy gold. Like already we've just been laughing a lot. When I was speaking with Emily, we were just laughing a lot, and it's why we're going to do our own joint show together. So I can just imagine I'm going to listen to this and just be pissing myself all the way through.
I put pressure on me now. I might attempt to be funny when I try it. Doesn't work. I just feel like kind of, I think it's just some really weird, and like if I just let my brain float, it just kind of seems to be kind of taking a leave or left. So like she was definitely one of the ones that kind of was the more approachable ones to start with, because when I went, she was more experienced.
Yeah.
So like she was a lot to kind of help me with us a lot and stuff. So, but she was really good, and she's one of the few people that kind of just without any effort can put up with me and the stupid stupid things that I just need to say and not mean to say. That sounds like I'm saying bad things. It's literally just stupidity. Yeah, she puts up with it really well.
Nah, she's great, and again, I'm putting the pressure on you because I'm looking forward to that episode. You both clearly have that similar bubbly personality where weird's the new normal. I don't like we're all a bit weird. I think that's why we all get along.
Especially in wrestling, like I think you need to be a certain level of weird to be in wrestling in any format. Because at the end of the day, you need to tell people when they're introduced to you that, and that's a weird enough conversation as it is, man. Like people being like, "Oh, you're a wrestler. Do you know Big Daddy?" Like, I'm 24. He's been beefing before I was born. Like, no. Nowadays, I suppose it's the Grado.
Yeah.
That's the one we get is Grado a lot. What do you find?
Do you know Grado?
At least alive. I do. Well, I mean, if you were to say me, then he probably wouldn't know who you're talking about. If you were to say Abyss, then he would know because he calls me Abyss. The first time I met him, though, he made me. I say made me. He just told me. He wasn't like forcing me or that. But he took a video of me doing an Abyss impression to send to Jeremy Borash. And I was like, do you know what? See if Impact want me to just go and be Abyss, say it at this point. I've no doing it. I've got free time. It's fair.
And it's great. Like I think the first time I'd met Grado was for Brit Rest Fest, that like Wrestle Talk was doing, and he was on the card, and I was in charge. I was selling his merch for him, and at the end he was like, "Well, you've done well selling here, haven't you?" I was like, "I ain't done too bad for you." He was like, "Right, here's some money. Treat yourself to a Mackey's on the way home."
Oh yeah, he does that. See, I remember that I only sold Grado's merch once, but it was the show after the only time that I put a merch table out with my t-shirts and stuff. What a disheartening experience that was to see how I sold.
You're thinking, like, this will be great.
2 t-shirts and a mask, and he's like that. I sold out in 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, literally does his suitcase, puts everything on. 10 minutes later, he's coming back and just taking his suitcase because everything's gone.
There's no point in having it there.
Oh, amazing. So you mentioned like when you first started training and stuff like that, you thought, I'll just train a little bit, then I'm going to be champion. I'm going to be like John Cena on TV.
That's still the plan. It's just taking it.
Tell you what, the one thing I do like about the Scottish wrestling is the camaraderie between everybody. Like it's like brothers in arms, sisters in arms.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know how, but I've kind of like it seems like I've kind of been dragged into that on Twitter somehow.
It just happens. Like, see, when it happened to me as well, like it shows and stuff. I'm actually quite quiet because I need to kind of warm to people before I can be weird. Otherwise, I'll just sit with music in or something. But like you can't help it. Like the whole scene, everybody just drags you, kicking and screaming into their weird wee world.
Because I think I'd probably started first popping up with obviously the Emily stuff and me doing the interviews for Fierce Females, and then I think it was when I got Dean on the show, and that can't because Dean was like, "Well, Jason's got an interview, so Krieger's got an interview. Like, where's mine?" So I slid in. I was like, "Come on, then we'll do it." And then before I know it,
and I gave him an interview too, and it turned out that I only had one and he had 2 at that point because I took pity on him.
But then before I know it, like we're just talking Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah, people must think that's a joke on Twitter. I legitimately love the Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah, I always remember being at I think it was Fight Club Pro, and they'd put a Backstreet song on when it was closing, or maybe during the interval. And at this point, again, vodka Red Bull, who's doing doubles, and I think it was like 2. It was cheaper if I bought 2, so I thought, right, I'll buy 4, and took them to where I was sat. I was like, right, there can be my drinks, and before I know it, like I'm up there just singing and dancing along to Backstreet Boys as if I'm the #1 fan.
Which, for all we know, you might be. we could have a competition here. It's like a quiz or some sort. See, I quite like wrestling with music. Like, it's like my first ever match. I still had the same kind of get up to a certain degree. Instead of the jeans, I had tights and I had a different top. Same jacket, same mask, same everything. So I came out with this really menacing demeanour. I was like dead set. I was like, right, you just need to be a scary, big, monster, serious guy. I'm ready to come out, and I was tagging McCragger in my debut. The music's about to play, the other music plays, and then I'm sitting there, I'm in like a zone because it's my first match, and I'm thinking, for some reason, I'm treating it like, you know, like in Rocky, before he goes out for a fight, he's just sat there all serious, like that was me for some reason. And then Just a Little by Liberty X plays, and I didn't realise that was the song that I was coming out to, whether I liked it or no. So like, Tiger's just dancing about, doing his usual, doing his weird stuff, and I had to try and be scary while that is playing in the background. I'm just saying, like, shut up, you child, but I couldn't do it. So I ended up getting kicked in the fruits instead.
I can just picture you getting like hit in the ring and then just start singing like Backstreet Boys or something, like "Tell Me Why."
Yeah, that's how I say it. Or like, see when you do like the you get knocked down spot and then you just nip straight up.
Yeah.
When I do that, I shout "Backstreet's back," and then get hit again.
It always drives my missus insane because whenever we have our random Twitter conversations about Backstreet Boys, because it's been going on for a few months now.
Oh yeah, we're going to develop a fan club eventually.
I know, like we are doing that karaoke whenever I come up to Scotland when the pandemic's over. We're doing that karaoke, but yeah, whenever we're doing that, I'm constantly just walking around the house singing "I Want It That Way," and the missus is like, "Will you stop singing that song?" I was like, "But tell me why."
I can't believe you set me up for that and I didn't even understand. I was like, never. That's not the words. That's one of the most kind of. See, I don't know why, but I feel like I attract the weirdos of social media as well as the nice people.
Are you trying to say I'm weird?
No, that's one of the nicer transactions. Like, there is so many times, I've had so many people message me and ask for unwashed gear, was one I got. There was another guy, actually, who very, very boldly asked for a picture of my feet. And I was like, mate, absolutely not. And he was like, right, okay. And then not 2 days later, he asked me for a picture of my girlfriend's feet. People are just bold, man. Like, a bit of Backstreet Boys chat is like a nice wee break for that cesspool I get.
Oh, just nearly choking on my like monster.
It's the feet finders. They're scary.
Did you not even ask him how much he was offering?
See, I don't like. No, because I would have needed to. I'm a proud person. I'd have had to went and get a pedicure or something. And that's the effort that I just don't have.
Just be like, you know what? We'll do a double bubble and put our feet next to each other.
And then you just need to give me your bank number and let me use your card for whatever I like.
You can touch toes. That'll get him going.
I try to be like kind of, because I've got like an actual background in customer service, so I'm alright with like replying to them. But that guy just had to get a straight block, and I didn't even know what to say other than just no. You're not getting a picture of your feet or my gear.
What's his? I'll have to get his name. I'll message him. I'm like, hey, I hear you're looking for Jason Hyde's feet. I've got what you want.
I have feet.
Yeah, fuck it. Like, if he's offering decent money, I'll just take a picture. I was like, these are Jason's feet. Give me money.
See, I think I don't have any tattoos that would distinguish down low. They'll be kind of stuff at my legs, so I think you'd be alright.
Amazing. So when you'd made that debut, what was that like for you in front of like the audiences and stuff like that?
Well, see, I had kind of, because I had been about for like not like ages. It didn't take me ages to get my debut, but like certainly longer than the average. Where I mix a lot of things. So like, I was injured for a while. There was like a period where my mental health was weird, and I just had no dedication to it.
Yeah.
So like it kind of took me a while to finally find the fitting. So by the time I got there, I was pretty confident in at least wrestling, like I'd done enough matches, I'd done enough training to know that I could do the wrestling part. So it was the crowd that was properly kind of freaking me out. But the date was the 29th of December, so it was snowing really, really badly, and I was supposed to be in an 8-man match, but 4 people, was it 4? Yeah, 4 of them for the 8-man match had basically cancelled because of the snow. One of them actually out loud said, "I can't, my mum says I'm not allowed to come." So our match gets split from an 8-man to a normal tag, and that properly threw me. So I was like, right, I've doubled the amount of work I need today. Tiger, you can do it. I thought, I'll just do a choke slam and look good. But it ended up going really well, but it was mostly the crowd that I had apprehensions with. But then as soon as I seen, as soon as I kind of got past that initial first kind of, whoa, this is now happening, I think I was all right. Like, I was really quiet because there was someone told me that my voice was weird and not to talk. So, like, the whole time I was just silent, robot style, hitting choke slams and stuff. But I think it was definitely, it went better than most, I would say.
What prompted the mask?
So, to be honest, I just thought it looked cool, but I think it's...
Did you just have it hanging around the house, like thinking, why not?
Well, to a degree, I've got the Chris from CRK Graphics, we do like just exclusive stuff together, even for like just boredom. I'll message him an idea and I'll be like, make this. So I messaged him for a gear design and he put this design in that was similar to the mask. And then I found a mask like that and I was like, we'll see what happens. And then it happened. People seem to be into it. And then now if I'm ever like a babyface or that, I don't really know what to be because I'm like, can I just come out pure, all happy, clap my hands with a pudge mask on?
Do you prefer baby or heel?
So I think heel is a bit. I'm more comfortable with heel, but I feel like there's certain times where like I'll be too one-dimensional with it.
Yeah.
And like if I don't know how to get a reaction or what's going on, I just straight away go to comedy.
Yeah.
Which when someone's told me they want the kind of big scary guy out of me, that's kind of a bit of a kind of hindrance to them, which I don't want to do ever, obviously. So like in that respect, I think I probably perform better as a face, but I don't suit being a face that well. So I'm just kind of easy with whatever.
Who do you look at to like research and stuff like that?
Well, it's that's kind of developed because at the start it was literally like looking at a certain move set. Who does this move? So like for example, there was a time where everybody was telling me that if I was able to do a good choke slam and make it different to other choke slams, then I could possibly make something out of that. So like there was a period where I was just watching choke slam compilations and stuff. And like so for like things like that, there was a lot of people like that I don't necessarily, not that I don't like in wrestling, but that aren't really like my kind of main things that I'd watch. Like for example, Bobby Lashley. Like Bobby Lashley's really good, of course, but that's not the kind of style of wrestling that I'm mostly into. But in regards to actually style and stuff like that, it's kind of like the Keith Lee, Kevin Owens sort of big, but not bulky, boring guys that can't move. So and then like to a degree, like younger Big Show and build him up before he was a creature.
Who's a chokeslam do you prefer?
So like with that one, see, I actually have I've got a place in my heart for Bobby Lashley. I think it's really cool. See, like that big picky up one. That's like that. I really like that one. But I still think I've got the best choke slam in probably the world, maybe the universe. Except for Abraham Lincoln, because it turns out Abraham Lincoln actually invented the choke slam, which blows my mind.
Oh, amazing. So what companies have you been working for really then?
So the most like kind of towards the end of the world starting, it was like the most regular work was kind of with like the likes of Pro Wrestling Scotland, Pro Wrestling Innovation, Respect, I was doing the summer before that all kind of died. I was doing quite a lot for W3L
Yeah.
when they were doing like fairs and gala days and stuff like that. Like they were like kind of my main thing before this all kind of kicked off, was that kind of thing, like kind of galleries and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly I was getting most regular work in Respect and Pro Wrestling Scotland.
Because I've seen you've been announced for Pro2 Championship Wrestling as well, haven't you?
I have indeed. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I'm going to punch somebody.
Because I know themselves and a couple more of the companies are working together, aren't they?
Yeah. So it's Pro Wrestling Innovation and Pro Wrestling Scotland. And Respect actually. So it's all the ones that I've just mentioned really.
Oh,
But yeah, there's like a lot of, because like they've got Cameron in, he's got every qualification under the sun. Like he's got all sorts of nursing, all sorts of like disclosure, all the clearances that you can possibly think of. So they've kind of got him in to do the kind of safeguarding and kind of talent liaison, things like that. And through that, he's in charge of Pro2, and he's like just kind of close with people now through those kind of connections. So yeah, they've all been working together. So it's kind of, I think it's so that, because obviously with no changes and that coming into wrestling post speaking out and things like that, like I think working together is probably the best thing just now for anyone.
Yeah.
Because there is of it, because there was so much needed done. There is a lot being asked of promotions and stuff. Not that it's unfounded or it shouldn't be asked, but like there is a lot being asked. So I think if they come together, it can kind of share the load a bit and kind of spread the burden, if you will. So I think it's fantastic, and it means that more people will let me work for them, which is always a plus.
I think it's good that they're working together because, again, it's going to create more work for you guys. And I think companies working together is only going to be a good thing because, again, giving young people opportunity to get repetition and get the matches under them, like under the belt. And it's only the more matches you have, the better you're going to get. So I think it's only going to be a good thing for the Scottish wrestling scene.
I think it's shown as well that, like, when you see, like, for example, AEW have just come off the back of their NWA kind of mixing with them, and now they're on to Impact and mixing with them, and like they're doing it at that level. Like something must be going right with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I think it can only be good for everybody, really.
Yeah, definitely. And again, after all the crap that's happened and a lot of people getting outed and getting kicked out of wrestling, I think people coming together and working together is only going to be a good thing. Again, making it a safe environment and give something positive for the good people still left in wrestling.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it's kind of stemmed from the fact that, see, obviously so much bad stuff's happened, and like it's still a good thing that it's happened.
Yeah.
But like it's obviously still going to be hard because like there's going to be people who, like, they thought they were close to somebody. It turns out this person was actually a horrible, horrible scumbag, and they were like none the wiser. Things like that kind of, I think that now that everybody can kind of push together and have an aim of kind of bringing it to the next level, officiating it a bit more and all that.
Yeah.
I think that that'll also be good for that in the respect to, like, it was like the kind of the bad stuff happening being the means to an end, and then being actually able to achieve the end game is going to be fantastic for so many people.
Yeah, definitely. And there's still obviously a lot of work to be done. It'll be interesting to see what things will be like once shows are up and running, and hopefully all the companies up and down the country and across the world in wrestling will make those changes and stick to it. Don't try and let people crawl back in to wrestling and stuff like that. But so for like PWI or PWS or Respect, like what are some of your highlights so far of your career?
So one of the kind of bigger ones, it's not a kind of, it's more of a kind of personal one, is that we done a show in my hometown where I grew up. It's actually Dean Ford's as well, but nobody cared about him apparently. But we done it there, and like I got a decent spot in the card. I had a good performance, and I also, like, half the place were there to see me. My T-shirt was everywhere, and like, I wasn't under any kind of false pretense that I was famous or that. It was just a really nice moment.
Yeah.
But in regards to kind of other places and kind of professional achievements, I really liked when I branched out to Respect. That's when I started kind of moving on past the solely wrestling other trainees and things.
Yeah.
So like, it was a really strange but good transition, because I think I learned as much from going from not being a wrestler at all to that level as I did from that to the next level.
Yeah.
And getting to wrestle guys like Glenn Dunbar, Bobby Roberts as well. I got to wrestle him a few times, and just like picking brains and stuff while I'm doing that. It's like, it's a lot of learning, so it's good in that respect. So that's kind of what I'm happiest about, is that I'm getting good.
Whose brains have you been picking, and what's like some of the key things you've been learning then?
So like, for example, TJ Rage is, I say this in every podcast I'm on, but he's like an encyclopedia of just wrestling knowledge. And like, see when he'll like predict something for like an upcoming pay-per-view or that, and he will get laughed out of the building with his stupid prediction, and then it just comes true. He's just got his finger on the pulse. So like, with him, like, he can pick 1,000 faults in a perfect performance, which sounds quite harsh, but I think it's really good in the sense of like, he has some form of a solution to any kind of problem or road bump you can come across. So that was really good. And then a lot of it being like seminars, like at the time Pete Dunne was so accommodating. He let me sit and talk the stupidest questions I could think of that I don't even know why I would need to know them now. And he was just chill. He was just answering and being really gracious and stuff. He was taking the ring down as well, which was cool to see. You don't really see that for the kind of that level at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really good. And just anyone that I wrestle, I always ask for the feedback and stuff. And then if I see someone that I think like they have a specific thing that I think would be good for me to take on or know, then I'll pick their brain. Mostly like bigger guys or kind of more bigger agile guys and things.
Yeah. Like, it's great that you look for that feedback, and even when you mentioned getting all the criticism, and I think that's important. I know a lot of people shy away from getting the criticism, and they always want to know what they've done well, but myself, whether it's any form of work, I always ask, right, what can I improve on? Because it's great somebody polishing your ego, telling you how great you are, but you're never going to get better if you don't know what you're doing bad. So it's good that he's coming and was like, right, you need to work on this, but you can do that by doing this. I think that's going to be more valuable for you, especially for your career and growth, than him just basically just polishing you up. Oh
yeah, and like, there is a like, TJ specifically will say, like, if you're looking for that, you're at the wrong place, because he's not there for that at all. Like, I'm making him sound like a proper hard ass. He's not. He's like one of the sweetest guys you'll meet in wrestling, but like, he also is direct and basically what a coach needs to be.
Yeah.
As well as the kind of out with wrestling. So like, you can also message him if you've got like a personal issue or if just you're bored. Like, it's the same for that, but like, in the level of like professional feedback, TJ is fantastic for that, because he's just a massive fan. He just loves wrestling. So like, if you were to send him a match of that, he'd be buzzing to get some wrestling to watch. So he'll happily do stuff like that. Krieger as well. He's kind of Krieger. Obviously, he's not been about the longest. He's obviously well known now.
Yeah.
But like, for how long he's been about, his knowledge about character and crowd work is impressive. So it's like, it's good to have a bunch of learning trees to sit under. And then as well, Emily Hayden, obviously the feedback and that from her exactly the same, but like, one of the most specific things I'll kind of take from her and kind of advice is more kind of promotion and carrying myself on kind of public platforms and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I think I've just been lucky enough to know the people that every facet's covered.
Yeah. She's fantastic with social media.
Oh yeah, see, I think I'm quite good at social media, and then she'll do something and be like, well, I thought I was funny putting up a picture of I don't know, bald Peter Capaldi or something.
Nah, that's great. Like, for those that may not have seen like those three companies specifically, like, what differentiates the shows from each other? Like, what if they went to PWI or Respect? Like, what would they expect for in terms of the ring and the crowd? What's the atmosphere like?
So they're all family orientated.
Yeah.
So with the crowd, you can often expect very similar responses, depending on where you are, because some towns are just tougher than others. But like each does bring their own kind of different things. So like for example, you've got Respect. They bring a kind of long running continuous storyline aspect that's not as prevalent in Scottish wrestling. Like Scottish wrestling is very show to show. So Respect bring that, and you've got Pro Wrestling Innovation. It's kind of their thing, like, which is where the kind of innovation part comes from, is that it's a lot of new talent mixing with experience.
Yeah.
And like they have a big push. All of them do have a really good push on pushing new talent, but Pro Wrestling Innovation in particular, that is their thing. Like they are a kind of not intentionally like developmental. It's not like anything like that, but it's just it's used as development as well as it's aimed at development. Like the kind of point of that is to innovate, to bring new things via the medium of classic wrestling matches.
Yeah.
And then Pro Wrestling Scotland, you have a very kind of bread and butter family show type atmosphere, if you know what I mean. Like it's very much the raffles and the kind of like proper family day out type vibes that you can take Indy to, and that it's a lot more kind of aimed towards the family aspect, whereas I think the other ones are aimed towards wrestling fans, also younger, whereas that is a more broader spectrum at PWS. And with Pro2, I have absolutely no idea what to expect. I'm really looking forward to it.
Nah, I'm looking forward to it. Like some of the announcements for Pro2. For example, like Billington Bulldogs going to be part of the show as well, and it's good to see that they're bringing other young, hungry talent, and I think that's one of the key things. And then you've got like the experience of Luke King Sharp and Craiger, and regarding them two, obviously, especially Lou, they go out to Denmark quite a lot with Dansk Pro and this Copenhagen Championship Wrestling. Like, is that something you're hoping to do? Because I know they look at the Scottish scene quite a lot. Is travelling, maybe going to Scandinavia, something you'd like to?
Well, I was actually supposed to be going to Denmark. I think maybe 2018, maybe.
Yeah.
But just things got in the way that I ended up not being there. But basically, I do have some specific places that I'd like to wrestle, but there's nowhere I wouldn't wrestle.
Yeah.
Like I'll take a booking in a war zone if you want. Like I don't really.
Well, I'll book you and the Invisible Man in my back garden.
Anytime. Plus, you can't no social distance for an Invisible Man, so it's fine. Boris will leave us alone. But yeah, that's especially over in Scandinavia. I think they've got a kind of different attitude to entertainment. They get really into it.
Yeah.
Because like I remember when I was in bands, I did play kind of closer to the area and kind of in that one or two shows in that area, and it's a different animal crowd wise. So it would be really interesting to see how that translates to wrestling. But it's definitely something that's on the bucket list.
So you mentioned you've got some specific goals in terms of places you want to work. Where are they?
So in terms of places, a lot of it's like either things I would really like as a hybrid style.
Yeah.
So like for example, I would like to partake in some form of lucha like promotion, because I feel like my style, despite not even slightly being lucha libre, would work well with it. And I've kind of wrestled a few luchadors before and it's went absolutely fine, and it has kind of gelled really well together. So that, big fan of Japanese wrestling, so anywhere in Japan would be really cool. Preferably things like, I'd quite like to see like All Japan or that, where I could kind of try out my deathmatch abilities, see how I got on with that, which would probably be terrible, but it's fine. I probably won't die. So, but yeah, just loads of that. And then, see, America is also something that would be fantastic, of course, but it's never been like a specific like WWE or
Yeah.
you know, at the time TNA Impact. That it's genuinely just the countries because I really like traveling and stuff like that. So a lot of it is just kind of using it as a means to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so mostly kind of Japan and kind of areas of such. And then I know that there's kind of a few countries and things where wrestling's a bit more up and coming, and kind of there's like a scene to build. I quite like the idea of that. Like I know that Spain in certain areas has a bit of a fledgling scene where it's just in its kind of infancy, and they're just kind of hopefully hitting the start of a boom period. So a lot of stuff like that. I like the idea of like, especially with like places like Pro Wrestling Innovation and Pro2. Like, I like the idea of being there and helping to build something and kind of leaving something. Like the idea of leaving wrestling better than you found it.
Yeah.
So like, I really like the idea of doing stuff like that and building things and helping with that.
No, definitely, and I think that's why I've looked at like the Scandinavia scenes, and like I think last year I interviewed over 20 different countries to have a look at different wrestling scenes, like Taiwan, China, Hong Kong,
There's
Malaysia,
Philippines as well in there.
yeah, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, where else am I? Hungary, Sweden, Denmark, Norway. There's quite a lot, France. But yeah, I'm the same. I love finding like these up and coming companies and countries of pro wrestling. Just the passions there's great, and I think like obviously again going to Looking Sharp, I think he's done well for himself where he'd gone out to China and did some stuff there, but now helping build the Danish scene. I like the goals. I like the goals of going somewhere and building. So props to you for that.
I think it's actually more common than it appears because I think a lot of us do really like the idea of being able to build things and kind of make something out of nothing. But a lot of people, I think, see that as them being the star, and if they've not, then they've failed. Not in a way of calling them arrogant or that. I think it's more the opposite end, where like a lot of people think if they're not the main guy in this at that time, then they've failed in what they're kind of trying to do. So I feel like maybe a bit of a perseverance on that would be better in regards to building things. So like, because every show needs a mid card, every show needs an opener and things like that. So I think like a lot of, although there is probably some ego in it down the line for me as well. It's like I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't want to be like the main guy anywhere, because of course I do. It'd be pointless not to want that.
Yeah.
But like I think a lot of people just are too hard on themselves to actually make attempts to build something. And I think that can change a lot, because a lot of it is like the kind of the old guard, if you will, and the kind of mentality of that it created. So I think that once that kind of moves up and people kind of have basically somewhere that's easier to be comfortable in wrestling, and like when you're in that kind of environment, you're just better at pushing yourself because like you feel like you're in control of yourself and things. So I think a lot of the changes that have come with wrestling will also help that, as well as like the wrestler side of things and making a better place for us. I think it will also help in building scenes all over the place. So like I think it all kind of comes down to an understanding of what is expected of you to do that, rather than just thinking if I'm not the star, I've failed and they'll need somebody else.
Yeah. So would you prefer to do the traveling and go into these different scenes other than signing for like NXT UK or anything like that?
Oh yeah. So like while again that would be nice. I've always kind of said I'd really prefer to do the kind of if I was to get anywhere like that, I would prefer to do it the long way around.
Yeah.
And kind of because like despite the multiple existential crises I experience daily, I'm only 24. So like the idea of like what would give me the fear is like, say for example I was to sign with NXT UK or AEW or whatever, like 3 years from now I could have totally failed, and I'm just like a 26-year-old failure rather than a 26-year-old hopeful. If that makes sense. But also just in that, like I'm so self-critical. I would need to fine-tune myself as much as possible before even trying to get there.
Yeah. What local goals do you have then? Like for some, whether it's in Scotland or the rest of the UK, Ireland?
In
Is
regards to Scotland,
ICW?
I think, to be honest, I've been working on a list. There's a list of people I really, really want to wrestle.
Yeah.
There's a guy from Aberdeen called Caleb Valhalla, and people have told me they'd like to see that between me and him. So like, there's a lot of people that I'd like to wrestle. But to be honest, I really just want belts. I think I'd look cool with belts, and I get to look in front of my mirror in the bathroom while I'm brushing my teeth with my belt on. But yeah, just basically just wrestle.
I can just picture it now. The missus walks in, or she's just waking up, and you're stood there, belt round the waist, mask on. She's like, "Hey,
Can I get you anything?" See, we actually, the old Respect Tag Team champion, Daryl Costello, he used to live here. He was my old flatmate. And I would often go into his room, and he would not bat an eyelid when I did it. He'd just be sitting there. I would take the Respect Tag belt, go away, do something weird with it, and take a picture, and then just put it back. So I feel like if I've got my own belts, I can then add the weirdness up. And that's why I'm here. I'm just in wrestling to get belts and do weird things with them.
So you've spoke highly about like building things up. So what if you was one of the first champions at Pro2?
I'd definitely be one of the last champions as well. I'd be holding on to her for dear life. To be honest, like, I think that if even anything that was to kind of come through like that, the way Pro2 is going is like they're bringing in a lot of exciting talent, and the prospects of working with most of them are enough for me. But at the same time, I'm not gonna, like, I feel like saying that sounds a bit complacent when it's more just like, despite the fact that I'm happy doing that, I'm not satisfied doing that. So like, I do still want to push myself, but at the root of it, I'm genuinely just happy to be there. But I also am determined that I will be having everything.
Definitely. Who would you want to face on that Pro2 roster that's been announced yet on the first show?
So like, so I always have fun wrestling Stone Malone. Like, he very much appeals to be the kind of the Sami Zayn to my Kevin Owens sort of thing. Like, every promotion we end up at, they're always used to go do something. So like, I'd like to wrestle him. Ian Krieger, Lou, TJ, any of them. There's just so many heads to slap about. Just whack them all if I need to.
Oh, brilliant. But no, hopefully, like, Pro2 will, like, skyrocket. I think the four companies working together is only going to be a good thing and building the Scottish wrestling scene, and giving, like, you young guys opportunities. So when you do get that first title, we'll have to get you back on the show and just be weird again together and all that fun stuff. You can shine
out with a toothbrush while we're on it. It'll be brilliant.
Definitely.
I mean, you say first, by the time I'm back on, I'll probably have maybe 2 belts here. Maybe this shoulder's a wee bit bigger because it's kind of popped out, so I could maybe fit a third on there. We'll have one here, one that I don't care about, a stupid one or something. Like one of my plastic ones. And I'll have a around the waist that angle with the Euro Continental. So I think I'll need a bigger camera lens to capture it.
Definitely to fit all the gold in. Where can everybody, like, before we get going, like, tell everybody about your show that you've got yourself?
So I have a podcast called Jason Hyde Attempts to Socialise, which I've spelt socialise wrong in it on purpose, and nobody's noticed yet, and it makes me really happy. Either that, or everybody's just too nice and it doesn't want to tell me. But it's basically this. It's just a mixture of rambling with people or asking stupid questions that I have no right asking as a journalist, which I've been referred to once. But it's basically just kind of the idea of it is kind of letting people get themselves across.
Yeah.
Kind of tell their stories and kind of, because a lot of the time when you're doing a lot of things like in character, you do feel kind of bubbled in. And kind of, so I think breaking that's really good. Plus, with lockdown, it's been able to talk to people I never get to talk to. Like, I spoke to Omar Mohammed for like 2 hours last week, and I have not spoke to him since lockdown started. So a lot of it is just as well, just literally socialising, just being able to speak to people, but also recording it.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me. But no, definitely. I think this has been the saving grace for myself, to be honest. Like being able to talk to people and do the way of the norm, especially like with my daughter being here, I'm on parental leave, so I'm not at work until May. So it'd just be literally be me, the missus, and the baby. I'd probably go start crazy.
I mean, like I've been allowed into my sister's bubble because she's got a new baby.
Yeah.
And like the wee man's dad works kind of up north, so I've been able to kind of get out a wee bit and stuff, and kind of be there for the first part of his life.
Yeah.
But other than that as well, it's a lot of it's just trying to cure this horrendous boredom. Like, there's only so much Doctor Who I can watch in a day.
Yeah.
So a lot is kind of breaking the monotony as well. But as well, it's just kind of, I'm not doing anything. And I think if it can help other people, that's great. But at the end of the day, it is just trying to give me and the other person I'm talking to something to do for an hour.
Yeah, definitely. And
but we'll be branching out as well. So I've got a band coming on. I've got comedians as well. So we're branching out with wrestling at least.
Yeah, definitely. And because weren't you put up for the SWN awards as well for your show?
Yeah.
How did that feel? The fact that, cause again, it was fan voted, but people had put your name forward to be in like consideration for that, especially being still relatively new.
So that was it exactly, because they said that, because to be honest, I'm not going to lie and say that I wouldn't have submitted myself, because of course I would have. But they said that you had to have like 6 episodes. At the time they said that, I had 5.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually put myself in, and then somebody put me in, and I was like, that. It was definitely a nice wee moment, but also like SWN put my podcast on their site every week and stuff, so like they are so good for us right now, like wrestling in general, but mostly the ones coming up, because like they're essentially keeping us relevant in wrestling, where we don't have as many outlets to do so. Like a lot of people who like the ones that aren't on ICW, or the ones that kind of haven't established certain, like, because it's one thing to go to, like, from my level, I've been on shows and stuff. There was people on the precipice of getting on shows. A lot, especially like for like Joe Hendry's school, Andy Wild's school at FPWA. And there's like a lot of people who, as you can tell from like the SWN Battle Bowl and the Saltire Classic, like there's characters, man. There's so many characters that the opportunity, like obviously we would all prefer COVID wasn't here, but like the silver line of it is that there's so many opportunities been created to kind of put everything into place, so that once we go back, like we can still have done a year's worth of work, and kind of made a year's worth of progress without that. So like they've been fantastic with that. So like for whoever it was that nominated me, thank you. But yeah, that was really nice. And as well with their episode of their podcast that I was on as well, that was like, I think that was the most viewed on YouTube, but not on Facebook. So didn't win the award.
You're the only person in their 200 club, I believe.
Well, my Dalek's there as well. We keep my Dalek there for safekeeping, but currently, that's why I keep sharing everyone that comes out, because I'm just like, somebody join me. I'm lonely up here. Lonely at the top.
Yeah, lonely at the top. See, you need a belt made of being like first ever SWN 200 champion or something like that.
I think it's just going to say 200 Pappy on it.
Where can people find you across like social media? Where can they find your podcast?
So my podcast is anywhere podcasts are available: Apple Music, Spotify, Anchor. You can probably get it on your Wii if you really desire. So that, and then everywhere else it's Jason Hyde PW, but the PW is capitals.
Yeah.
So everywhere. So that's Facebook and Twitter. My Instagram. I mean, my Instagram's not really wrestling, but people can have that. It's just like vampire with a B, like vampire, GC. But that's basically just pictures of my dog. and me laughing at how tiny my girlfriend is. That's all that is.
That'll probably be the one that gets the most followers then. Everybody loves seeing
More
dogs.
than likely, because there'll be people on it now like looking for like, what height is she? She's 5'1" and ginger though, so she can be the target for the cyberbullies.
Oh, amazing. But now, Jason, thank you for coming on. Like, again, we'll have to do it again when more stuff's happening, and I wish you nothing but the best with like Pro2 and everything else coming up. And yeah, it was great to find a show months in the making. It's finally good to have you on.
Yeah, it's been good, man. I've enjoyed it. It's definitely lived up to the hype.
Oh, I didn't realise I had a hype.
Oh, of course there's hype. There's always hype when I'm involved. Apparently. I mean, I don't see the hype. The hype should pay more, but it doesn't. But here we are.
It did always make me laugh when I'd just try and share and be humble when I'd got nominated for the SWN. And he was like, I'm supposed to be the unprofessional one here and shit like that.
Like, that's my favourite thing, is that like I'm basically just I'm the unprofessional wrestler. I think I've just come up with my new gimmick on your podcast.
The unprofessional wrestler.
The unprofessional wrestler, that's it. That's me. So I mean, if anybody wants to follow me on the Twitters and that, you can essentially just do it for proof of that. That I have no decorum to it whatsoever.
I want to see you run with the unprofessional wrestler now. But no, everybody, make sure you do go follow Jason. Follow him on Instagram. Go have a look at pictures of his dogs and his missus and everything else that he posts on there. Make sure you hit like and
subscribe. No feet.
No fee, unless it's a really high fee, and I'll just send you some on my own. It's fine. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Friday morning.